All right, it's Mixed Master B here for MMB Sports, and on the phone lines now have Bari Musawwir, Monster Jam truck driver of Spider-Man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm looking forward to coming and spending some time there in Philly for the show coming up.
Awesome, awesome. As I mentioned, Philadelphia, Monster Jam is going to be coming to the Wells Fargo Center on October 4th and 3rd and 4th. Tickets are available at Comcast Tix right now. And a lot of people are fans of Monster Jam, and you see the popularity of it. How did you get involved in Monster Jam? When did you become a fan of Monster Jam?
Well, I followed the sport pretty much my entire life. My mom took me to my first show when I was 6 years old. We actually lived in Detroit, so we were at the Pontiac Silverdome, and I just kind of fell in love after that. You know, it's like love at first sight. You know, you see these big, loud trucks with huge tires, and they're crushing cars, and they had a lot of power. So, you know, what 6-year-old boy wouldn't love that? So I just knew that was something I always wanted to be involved with at an early age. I just didn't know how I was going to get to that point. And then I started getting involved into radio-controlled cars at an early age. And, you know, that became like a passion, hobby of mine type thing. And I got into the hobby-grade RC cars, which are the ones that you get from, like, hobby shops, and you can build them yourself and upgrade them and make them faster, that sort of thing. So then once I got into that, there's naturally you race them. You know, you go from playing in your backyard to actually going to meets where you race other people with the same hobby. So I got good at that, and fast forward a few years, I got noticed at a big RC race, actually at the home of the Gravedigger truck at Digger's Dungeon, which is in Poplar Branch, North Carolina, in 2006, and a Monster Jam official just happened to be there working, and he noticed me, and he said, "Man, if you can drive an RC truck that good, you might be able to drive a real one." So I kid you not, they added me to an already scheduled test session a week later. So I was literally flown back in a week later, and I was driving a monster truck in the test field.
That's awesome. So you go, so you go from like these kids out there that are playing with like your Matchbox cars. Who knows? Tomorrow you could be driving, you know, a Monster Jam truck.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I followed the sport for a long time, and it took a while to actually get an opportunity to even do that, and it took me by complete surprise at the time. And you know, I think I shocked them when I did probably better than what they thought I was going to do, because normally you have to have some kind of motorsports experience in order to even be considered to do it in the test field. So they actually didn't have a truck for me right away. It took 4 years for me to actually get a shot at driving in a show professionally to get that job offer.
Now, how much time does it take? Like, do you guys have to clock in a certain amount of hours to become an official driver for Monster Jam, or like, what are the qualifications for that?
No, not necessarily. It's mainly they just want to see how you are able to handle the truck in the test field and how you're able to, you know, engage with the fans and do interviews and how you speak. So it's like a complete package, not just the driving aspect of it. But I tested twice, in 2006 and in 2008. And then I got a call in 2010 to do my first show. So it was like trial by fire right there at my first show. I hadn't driven a truck in 2 years. So it was definitely nerve-wracking. I was nervous. I couldn't eat before the show, but it all worked out.
Now, I got some fans that sent in questions, and one of the questions we have here is, do you ever get nervous before an event? Like, you're afraid that you're going to, like, roll over?
Yeah,
or...
I think it wouldn't be natural if you didn't get a little nervous. You know, this is going my fifth year anniversary now with driving Monster Jam trucks, and you get those butterflies kind of in your stomach right before the show starts, because you just it's not really nervous energy. It's more like you just want everything to go right, and the anticipation of, you know, getting out there, because, you know, you want to win as a competitor. You want to, you know, finish first. So that's the main reason why I get the little butterflies. But after the introductions of the show, it's like game time, game on. You're just focused.
We're talking to Bari Musawwir, who is the driver of Spider-Man at Monster Jam. It's October 3rd and 4th at the Wells Fargo Center. Um, Spider-Man, did you ever grow up being a comic book fan? Someone wanted to know, you drive the Spider-Man truck. What is the coordination between the two?
It's funny. That's a good question because I wasn't a big comic book fan person. I was more just into cars and trucks and that kind of stuff. But I won the Rookie of the Year award in 2011. And then the Marvel people came to me after I won and said, we'd like you to represent for our Spider-Man brand and drive our truck for next season. So that's how that came about. And, man, I definitely have an interest in the comic book phenomenon now because there's so many fans out there that really, really enjoy, the Spider-Man truck and the Marvel brand that they bring to the table. So I definitely had to get up on my P's and Q's as far as that went, So, yeah, I'm a fan now for sure. And it's pretty cool because I won the 2012, it's like the inaugural, what they call Young Gun Shootout Championship in Las Vegas in 2012, which is kind of like a race for all the newcomers to the sport. So that brought a lot of publicity my way while piloting the Spider-Man truck. So it was really popular before, but then it really gained speed after I won that show.
Yeah, when you have somebody like Marvel in the history of Marvel Comics come to you and ask you to represent them and drive their vehicle, you're pretty sure I'm going to do my Spider-Man history, and I'm Googling and knowing all the facts about, Peter Parker, and I'm all about it after that. So that's very
Absolutely.
awesome. So was there ever a truck that you were a fan of growing up? Like, I don't know how old you are. I might be showing my age a little bit. When I was little and I got into Monster Jam, I was a huge fan of Bigfoot. We had the Bigfoot video game on regular Nintendo, and I was a huge Bigfoot fan. But were you a fan of any driver or certain truck when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, Bigfoot, they're the ones that started it all, so it was pretty cool, I think, and they won a lot. So of course, right along with you there. And but the Gravedigger truck kind of started making his name, and he was wild and crazy, so he gained a fan base too that's carried through to even till today. I mean, 30 plus years, and Gravedigger's probably like a household name when it comes to Monster Jam. Everybody knows that truck. And of course, I was a fan of just the sport in general. So I wouldn't say I pinpoint one specific truck or driver. I just really like to see the show in general, because I loved every aspect of it. And so it's kind of surreal now, because some of those same people that I watched on TV growing up as a kid racing, I get to race with today, and they're still doing it. So it's pretty unique situation.
Awesome. So we have another question here, and someone wanted to know, what are the tires filled with? Are they filled with air, helium? Because they're so big, these monster tires. Some people say, oh, they're not even full of anything, and I'm like, they have to be filled with something. What's inside these tires?
Oh, that's air. It actually is less air than your conventional passenger car tire. There's only usually, I would say, about 15 to 20 pounds of air in the tires at a time, where your passenger car is like 32 to 45 pounds of air. But the amount of air is a lot more, of course, than the passenger car, but the pressure, the volume of the air is quite a bit less.
Talking to Bari Musawwir. And what do you like to do on your downtime? I know you guys you're like a year-round sport. It's not like there's not really an off-season, really. So what do you do when you are not driving?
When I'm not driving, I actually was a graphic designer before I started driving, so I still like to do a little bit of that on freelance. And I've got a 10-month-old son now, so he takes up a lot of my time too when I'm at home. We have a blast here just at home. He just started walking, so he's into everything.
Once they start walking, it's a wrap after that point.
Yeah, I'm learning that.
So it's awesome. You do the graphic design, and I saw that you did, you're interested in doing like wraps for cars. Have you ever thought about like pitching any ideas of doing a rap or designing your own truck with your own concept and name?
Actually, I have. I do that all the time. And I actually got an opportunity to design a truck for the city of Baltimore. I guess that was a couple years ago now, where it was like a tribute to Monster Jam coming to their city, and it had all the things on it that Baltimore's kind of known for. So that was pretty fun. And I can't say that any Monster Jam driver's ever done that before, where you get to design a truck, you get to wrap it yourself, and you get to drive it. So that was a pretty cool opportunity that I got.
Well, speaking as a fellow graphic designer, I understand where you're coming from, because I get to create my own website, host my own podcast, and it kind of cuts out the middleman. You don't have to worry about someone else screwing up something that you wanted done the right way.
Exactly right.
So is there any kind of ritual or any kind of pregame thing you do before you drive, whether it be listen to a certain kind of music, eat a certain kind of food, anything that you, superstitions that you may have before you go out and compete?
Not really superstitions. I just try to make sure everything is in order. I try to make sure everything is the same as it was when I left it, as far as like when I climb in the truck, and I make sure the seat belts are good to go, so that you can strap in and be safe, and just kind of look around the cockpit of the truck, make sure everything's the way it should be, and talk to my family before the show, and then it's game on. We're focused. We try to put on a great show for the fans every time we go out, and hopefully that's what we're looking to do there in Philly, and maybe take home a win or two.
Well, we sure hope so. And go ahead and promote where people can find you at online. I know everybody's on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook. I mean, even if you're old school and you still do MySpace, shout out to those people. But where can people find you at online to kind of interact with you?
Sure. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and it's just my name, at Bari Musawwir. That's Bari, and last name is Musawwir. And also, you can go and log on to monsterjam.com, and they have all the latest information on where Monster Jam's coming to a city near you. And they've got all sorts of merchandise on there for your favorite Monster Jam trucks and drivers. So it's pretty cool to go and check that out. I also have my own website. It's mrbam.net.
Very cool, very cool. So now we're going to let you do your infomercial ShamWow best impression right now. If you had to sell Monster Jam to people who are listening who have never been to Monster Jam, have never been to a show before, go ahead and convince them why they need to be there October 3rd and 4th at the Wells Fargo Center.
Well, if you are a fan of having a good time, Monster Jam is the place to be, because even though you might not ever have been to a monster truck show in your life, you'll be a fan if you attend the show at the Wells Fargo Arena, because there's nonstop action. They'll have you on the edge of your seats from the time the show starts to the time it's time to go home. I mean, you'll witness 10,000-pound trucks with 1,500 horsepower with 66-inch tall tires doing wheelies, donuts, jumping over huge obstacles, crushing cars. And you never know, there might even be a cool surprise that you weren't even aware of. So it's definitely a great family fun environment to take everybody, from the little babies to the grandparents. There's something there for everybody.
Well, we thank you again, Bari, for calling in. That's Bari Musawwir, Spider-Man driver, Monster Jam, October 3rd and 4th at the Wells Fargo Center. Tickets available now at Comcast Tix. We thank you for taking the time. I know you got a crazy busy schedule, so we'll be seeing you next week at in Philadelphia, tearing the house down.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it, and you guys got to let me know where I can find a good Philly cheesesteak, because you can't come to Philly and not have one.
You let us know. We'll get in touch with you, we'll have them ready for you.
All right, perfect.
All right, thank you, Bari. We will talk to you real soon.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, no problem. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, this is Bari Musawwir, driver of the Spider-Man Monster Jam truck, and I'm on air with Mix Master B on MMB Sports.